In this video, we're looking at how to multiply decimals. Multiplying decimals is quite straightforward. What I would like you to imagine is that you deal with whole numbers for now. So even though my question is 0.2 times 3, I would like you to work out 2 times 3. Okay, that's quite easy. We know that is 6. Now, when you compare the calculation that we've just completed to the original one, okay, you notice that actually the number in our original question was 10 times smaller. Okay, so 0.2 is 10 times smaller than 2. So that means my answer also needs to be 10 times smaller. So I have to divide it by 10, and that is 0.6. Okay. When you think about the next question, first calculate 3 times 9, and that is 27. Now again, notice that instead of 3, we have 0.3, so that is 10 times smaller. And instead of 9, we have 0.9, so that is again 10 times smaller. Which means that our answer needs to be 100 times smaller, because that's 10 times 10. Okay? Or we divide by 10, and then we divide by 10 again. So 27 divided by 100 is 0.27. Okay, now there is another way to think about it as well. You can think about how many decimal places you have in your question, and then you need to have the same number of decimal places in your answer. So when I go back to my first example, I have only one decimal place in my question, so I need only one decimal place in my answer. In the second question, I have one decimal place in the first number and another decimal place in the second number, so that is 2 decimal places altogether in my question. So that means I need 2 decimal places in my answer. Okay, so in the next example, I'm going to calculate 22 times 4 first, so we know that's 88. And now I'm going to count how many decimal places I have in my question. That's 1, 2, 3. So my answer also needs to have 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So that's the answer that we need. Okay, we have 3 places in our answer and 3 decimal places in the question. Now, the next question, 16 times 24, we can help ourselves here. Okay, 4 times 6 is 24, carry the 2, 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2, that is 6. Now, 2 times 6 is 12, carry the 1, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, so that is 384. Now, the question has 2 decimal places, so the answer also needs to have 2 decimal places. That means the point can go right here. Okay, in the last question, we've got 25 times 67. Again, let's use long method to calculate this. 7 times 5 is 35, carry the 3. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3, that is 17. 6 times 5 is 30, carry the 3. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3, that is 15. So the answer is 1675. 1675, and now we need to decide where the decimal point needs to go. So let's have a look at how many decimal places we have in my question. 1, 2, 3. So that means my answer also needs to have 3. 1, 2, 3. So that means the decimal point needs to go in front of 6. Okay. Now you could also use estimation and rounding to estimate what your answer needs to be, whether it needs to be over 1 or over 16 or over 167. So you can use estimation to decide where your decimal point needs to go. Okay, so for example, in the last calculation, okay, I have a number that is less than 1. Okay, 0.25 is less than 1, and I times it by 6.7. Okay, so my answer cannot be 16.75 because it needs to be less than 6.7 if I multiply it by a number that is less than 1. Okay, so you can use estimation to work out or to check whether you've put the decimal point in the right place.